Almost too far gone. Some transformations only begin after something looks past its best. There is a point when bananas stop looking like food. The peel turns soft and mottled, brown spots spreading across the yellow until the whole thing begins to look a little suspect. The bright color fades, and the skin wrinkles slightly around the edges, as though the fruit has quietly surrendered its attempt to appear fresh. If you were slicing one for cereal, or packing it in a lunch, you would probably pass it by without a second thought. But if you bake, you know those are the ones you want. The bananas that look almost too far gone, the ones with bruises and soft places and peels that cling stubbornly when you try to open them, make the best banana bread. Sometimes they are even a little unpleasant to peel, collapsing into the bowl in a way that does not look very promising. By that point, they are almost soft enough to be called slimy. When the fork meets them, it slides straight through with hardly any resistance, the fruit giving way without the slightest pushback. And yet those are the ones that bring the most sweetness. Something has happened inside them while they sat quietly on the counter. Time did its slow work. The sugars deepened. What looked like decline was actually transformation. Mashed into the bowl, folded into batter, and handled with a little care, they become something more than they were on their own. Richer, sweeter, more generous. There is something about that stage that makes people uneasy. I was making banana nut bread for the stand the other day. It happens to be one of my best sellers, and as usual, I had bought the bananas a week ahead of time and left them on the counter to do their quiet work. As I peeled them, trying not to get the gross parts on my hands, it made me pause and think. We are not especially comfortable with things that look as though they have gone a little too far. Fruit that is too soft, bread that is a day past fresh, anything that carries the marks of time, bruising, or wear. Our instinct is usually to clear it away and assume that whatever has reached that stage has also reached the end of its usefulness. But standing there with a mixing bowl and a fork, watching those spotted bananas turn into something fragrant and promising, it becomes harder to believe that decline and uselessness are the same thing. The gospel begins in much the same place. Not with what is polished or impressive, but with what looks bruised, overlooked, and a little too far gone. Time and time again, the stories of Scripture turn toward people whose lives seem to have passed their best moment. And yet, in the hands of God, even what looks spent can be gathered up and shaped into something with new purpose. It is a small thing to notice in a mixing bowl, but the pattern is difficult to miss once you see it. When life stops fitting together the way it once did, our first instinct is usually to fix the problem quickly or move past it as fast as possible. Plans shift, expectations loosen, and the careful order we once depended on gives way to something less certain. Those seasons can feel deeply frustrating while we were living through them. We want resolution. We want the pieces to come together again. And yet it is often in that unsettled middle space, when the old solutions no longer work and the new ones have not yet appeared, that the deeper work quietly begins. Sometimes the sweetness is still forming.